The US presidential election in 6 months from now is shaping up to be a rematch between Republican former President Donald Trump and Democratic incumbent Joe Biden. They are neck and neck in the polls, with Mr. Trump possibly edging slightly ahead. A second Trump White House could result in major global changes on everything from security and immigration to climate change. Caroline Malone with this report.
Make America great again.
Donald Trump's Make America Great Again slogan continues to be front of mind for people who want him to be US president again. He's laid out priorities that include deporting migrants crossing the border illegally, which he often calls an invasion. He recently told Time magazine, "I think the National Guard will be able to do that. If they weren't able to, then I'd use the military." Many Trump supporters still falsely believe he won the last election. The former president told Time he's considering pardons for people convicted over the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack, when some of his supporters stormed Congress to try and overturn November 2020 poll results.
One last final point. This is something I think we should...
The Heritage Foundation is a Washington think tank that's created a playbook for a second Trump presidency, including the replacement of many civil servants with loyalists of the Republican leader.
And Congressman Chip Roy of Texas.
Some of these Trump allies have far-right views, such as House Freedom Caucus policy chair and Texas Congressman Chip Roy.
We funded a DHS of $62 billion for Alejandro Mayorkas to continue to have a Department of Homeland Security that's allowing our borders to be wide open and empower China and have fentanyl pour into the communities in Texas and throughout our country.
On foreign policy, Trump has frequently highlighted the failure of some NATO members to commit a minimum of 2% of their GDP to defence spending. 20 out of 32 nations now do give at least that and are focused on supporting Ukraine in its war against Russia. But Trump has also threatened not to support NATO allies that don't meet the military alliance's spending target and instead encourage Russia to, quote, do whatever the hell they want.
There is now a new law on the books requiring a two-thirds majority in the House and in the Senate for an American decision to leave NATO. But that shouldn't reassure anyone because, of course, the mere calling into question of the mutual assistance clause in Article 5, which says that an attack on one member state is an attack on all and will be treated as such. Just calling that into question, as Trump has repeatedly done, including in the last weeks and months, undermines the credibility of NATO with its potential adversaries.
Trump has also in the past called into question climate science, even calling global warming a hoax, although he's later acknowledged humans bear some blame. There are worries a second Trump presidency could walk back President Biden's pro-environment policies and again pull the US out of the Paris Agreement to cap greenhouse gas emissions. These headlines highlight the concern. A second Trump presidency would be a nightmare for the climate, reads one. The climate can't afford another Trump presidency is another. Neighbour Canada seems concerned too, with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau arguing a Trump win this November could harm the fight against climate change globally. The feeling is Donald Trump 2.0 would push for change across the board. He's also threatened to gain more control of the US Federal Reserve and the Department of Justice, which is leading 2 high-profile criminal cases against him. The DOJ plan, though, could hinge on how the Supreme Court rules on presidential immunity, with Trump implying that if he is not immune to prosecution and he gets into power again, then he may try to go after his rivals. Caroline Malone, CNA, Washington.